The exhibition program here at this museum is really something built on years and years of investment by the community. I think there's a few very important critical moments in that history. One is this year of 1913, when the museum brought Marcel Duchamp's revolutionary and absolutely shocking work of nude descending a staircase. Having it here shows how this institution and this community was so forward-thinking and forward-looking. One of the most important artists in the history of the 20th century. Mark Rothko holds a special place. We did a retrospective of his work going back from his early pieces throughout his career. I think our exhibition program has been built off of artists such as Mark Rothko and some of those major moments that we showed him. Another legendary moment was in 1959. We had a great Van Gogh exhibition. Apparently, as I read through the archives, there were lines around the block, and many people I speak to today remember that coming as a child. The great benefit of that exhibition was not only creating enthusiasm for the exhibition program, but also we were able to acquire some funds to purchase our celebrated water lilies by Claude Monet from 1914 and 15. So it afforded us the opportunity to purchase that icon in the collection, and a painting that is really of great significance for this museum and community.
It was wildly popular. We saw 2,500 people a day for the better part of 5 months. And many of those people had never even been to this museum.
Well, over the last generation, the museum has hosted a wide variety of exhibitions devoted to European art. Some treated individual great princely collections, like that of the Stroganoff family that was celebrated in the Millennium Year. Other exhibitions have taken in whole periods or themes in European art, such as Rembrandt and the Golden Age of Dutch art that brought wonderful works from the Rijksmuseum. We've also had the art of the Louvre's Tuileries Gardens that truly appealed to a Portland audience filled with many gardeners. And also the Body Beautiful in ancient Greece.
It was a special privilege to have it here because it threw light on our own suit of armor, and we were also able to install our own galleries with an exhibition of Japanese prints and Japanese paintings and decorative arts.
Richard is a very thoughtful artist who bridges the gap between documentary photography and art. And this piece in particular was an artistic exploration of the issues around the Congo, shot through film that turned everything to a bright pink. And it was a piece that was very accessible, but also delved into international issues.
Many of Curtis's images show the backs of Native people going off into the sunset. This was a trope, a very popular trope, and also a very destructive one, as you can imagine.
That exhibition took sort of 3 years of very intensive research. What we discovered in that process is that although other museums may have 40 times as many prints, we have quite a few prints that other museums don't. In 1983, we did an exhibition called Images of a Changing World, Japanese Prints in the 20th Century, and they produced a small catalog of that. It was one of the first serious attempts to look at contemporary Japanese prints in an exhibition context. That collection, which has been such a hallmark of the museum's identity ever since, it certainly shaped the career of my predecessor, Donald Jenkins, who was a print specialist. I think to this day defines, to some extent, what the museum is in terms of collection strength.
Wild Beauty was incredibly important, for one, because it was one man's life's work. The important thing that I think it proved is that a local subject, a deeply local subject, can be a blockbuster.
And the automobile, again, throughout the 20th century has really been pushing the design vocabulary and what design can do. And through streamlining, through elegance, through materials, have created moving sculptures.
And in selecting the exhibition, I wanted to focus on bicycles that began to change daily life and that altered our perception of how we thought about the bicycle.
I wanted also to showcase some of the highlights in the V&A's own collection. We've never done a show about Italian fashion before. And it's also a story that hasn't really been told in a museum setting as thoroughly as we've been able to do.
So the Film Center's program started in 1971, really started in 72, and the idea has always been, how do you put the context of film history and international cinema in the context of Northwest? The big event that really started everything off was the Northwest Filmmakers Festival in 1973, which brings filmmakers from all over the Northwest to Portland and introduces audiences to new talents. In 1977, we started the Portland International Film Festival, and that's sort of the bookend to this local focus. That event led to the founding of the Jewish Film Festival in 1992. Then came our Human Rights Series, which takes a look at filmmakers that are really trying to change the world.
Fresh Film is one of the oldest teen film festivals in the country. And one of the things that makes it unusual is that it's not national, it's not just local, it's about the region, Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Montana, and Alaska.
And we're really at heart trying to elevate and build community among Northwest filmmakers.
And that's been the theme of the festival since its founding 40 years ago.
It's not so much to be a film society, but to give people appreciation for what goes on locally and maybe encourage people to tell their own story, change our world,